After the college entrance exam, my brother secretly booked a flight to country T. I pretended not to know and even transferred 20,000 yuan to him for his trip. In my previous life, I not only stopped him but also told our parents. He resented me for a full 6 years because of it. While I was on my honeymoon abroad, I was sold to a scam park along with my husband. Seeing me with my legs broken in the video, he laughed maniacally. "You deserve it, this is all you deserve, you ruined my life. And I will make you suffer for the rest of yours. Why did you stop me from going abroad back then?" My husband rushed to save me, but was beaten to death with clubs. After enduring humiliation and hardship for over a decade, upon returning home, I found the grass on my parents' graves had grown 3 feet tall. Unable to bear the injustice, I took my last breath. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day when my brother secretly booked the plane tickets. "Sis, I want to go abroad alone. I've already made all the travel plans." My younger brother Kevin, who is 4 years my junior, was excitedly shaking my arm. Seeing that I wasn't reacting, he impatiently pushed me. "Sis, say something already. I can't believe it. I'm an adult now. Why can't you let me make my own decisions? I've listened to you since I was a child, studied hard, and did well in the college entrance exams. Now that the exams are over, how long do you still want to control me?" I was shoved so hard that I stumbled and hit the armrest of the sofa behind me. The pain instantly brought me back to my senses. I saw my intact legs, standing firmly on the ground. I trembled as I raised my hand to touch my face, which was full of collagen. I realized that I had truly been reborn. I looked at the demon in front of me, my good younger brother from my previous life who had personally pushed me into hell. A torrent of hatred threatened to overwhelm me. And I managed to force a stiff smile. "Kevin, you've grown up now, and we shouldn't be controlling you anymore." After saying that, I picked up my phone and transferred 20,000 yuan directly to him. I showed him the screenshot of the successful transfer. "I trust you completely. Here's some travel money, so go have fun. If you need more, just ask me." Kevin's eyes widened instantly. He looked at me in disbelief, even reaching out to touch my forehead. "Sis, are you feeling okay? Why are you being so agreeable today?" I swatted his hand away and tried to soften my expression. "I've reflected on it. We were too strict with you before, always afraid you'd take the wrong path. But now that you're an adult with your own thoughts, go ahead and do whatever you want. I support you." Kevin jumped for joy, let out a cheer, and ran back to his room with his phone. "That's great, I'm booking the tickets. You're the best sister in the whole world." Hearing his excited shouts, my heart felt icy cold. In my previous life, Kevin had proposed going out alone, but I had sternly refused, citing safety concerns. Later, I accidentally discovered his social media alias, filled with curses against his family and his true plans. He had secretly booked a flight to country T, intending to debut as a beautiful female star. I was terrified when I saw it and immediately told my parents. Both my parents were extremely traditional and conservative intellectuals. When they heard that their son wanted to undergo gender transition, their blood pressure soared in anger. My father grabbed his belt, my mother took the feather duster, and they gave Kevin a thorough beating together, confiscating his passport and ID card in the process. Unexpectedly, Kevin harbored a grudge against me from then on. He believed that I stood in the way of his dreams of stardom, ruining his life. He held all his resentment against me, and in the end, he repaid his hatred with the lives of both me and my husband. This time around, I will not meddle in other people's affairs, respect the fate of others, and let go of the urge to help. Thinking of this, I took out a plate of cut watermelon from the refrigerator and pushed open my brother's door. He was grinning at the computer screen, and when he saw me come in, the computer snapped shut. He looked at me warily. "You're regretting it again, aren't you?" "I knew it. You always say one thing and do another." I smiled and placed the watermelon on his desk. "How could I? I'm definitely going to support you." I changed the subject, pretending to be concerned. "However, Mom and Dad definitely won't agree. They'll definitely say it's too dangerous for you to go to country T alone." My brother's expression immediately changed. He furrowed his brow, clearly deep in thought. I patted his shoulder, comforting him. "You'll have to figure out how to convince Mom and Dad yourself. I can only help you this much." During dinner, Kevin seized the opportunity to mention his travel plans. Mom and Dad exchanged glances, their faces showing some hesitation. "Where are you going to play? With which classmates?" "Just to Korea. Our classmates all say it's very fun there, so we want to go and see." My dad put down his chopsticks and said worriedly, "It's unfamiliar territory in Korea. Let your sister go with you." Kevin immediately became unhappy. "I'm already so old, and my sister still has graduation photos to take and her thesis to work on. How would she have time to accompany me? I quickly chimed in. The little brother has grown up, and besides, the security in Korea is pretty good. Let him go, and he can send us photos every day to report his safety. It'll be fine. Seeing that I agreed as well, my parents finally relented. All right then, do you have enough money? Be careful and don't wander off. Enough, enough. My sister has already sponsored me. In the first few days, Kevin, as promised, shared the beautiful scenery of Korea in the family group chat. One moment it was the bustling night view of big city, and the next, sizzling barbecue. He even took a few photos of Korean girls and posted them in the group, saying, "Mom and Dad, look, there are so many beautiful women here." My mom replied with a cheerful tone, "You rascal, take care of your safety and don't just stare at pretty girls." My dad, on the other hand, gave a serious warning: don't spend money recklessly, don't drink, and return to the hotel early at night. I simply liked every photo he sent, never adding any extra words. About a week later, the photos in the group stopped updating. The first to lose it was my mom, who started frantically tagging my brother in the group chat. "Son, why aren't you sending photos anymore? Kevin, respond quickly when you see this, or we'll call the police." Calls went unanswered, and my parents were completely panicked. They contacted the younger brother's classmates, who all said they hadn't made any plans with Kevin to go to K-country. Mom and Dad were at a loss. Filled with regret, my father's hair turned half white overnight. As he muttered to himself, "It's all my fault. Why didn't I stop him back then?" My mother held me and wept. "What should we do? Has something happened to your brother?" I pretended to be even more heartbroken than they were. As I cried, I rolled my eyes back and collapsed straight onto the floor. My parents were terrified and frantically rushed me to the hospital. The doctor said it was a sudden rush of anger and excessive grief. When I woke up, I clutched my mother's hand, sobbing so hard I could barely catch my breath. "Mom and Dad, it's all my fault. It's all because I persuaded you to let him go. If anything happens to my brother, I don't want to live anymore. My life is already hopeless." As I spoke, I seized the fruit knife on the bedside table and slashed at my wrist, taking advantage of their distraction. Of course, I only scratched the skin and drew a little blood, but that was enough to terrify my parents out of their wits. My father snatched the knife away, trembling with anger. "You child, if something happens to you again, how are we supposed to live?" My mother hugged me, crying her heart out. "Yes, your brother is already missing. You can't scare us like this anymore." It was only then that they snapped back to reality, realizing they still had another child, and they absolutely could not fall apart. With great effort, they pulled themselves together. They continued to ask around for news of my brother while pouring all their care and attention into me. The police quickly got back to us with news. Kevin's passport records showed that he hadn't gone to K-country at all, but had flown straight to country T. However, the Thai police made no progress for a long time and eventually had to classify the case as a missing person report. In just one night, my parents seemed to age 10 years. To give them an outlet to release their stress and pain, I signed them up for an audition for a short play. "What, acting?" My mother widened her eyes. "Don't be ridiculous. At our age, how could we possibly act in a play?" My father also shook his head firmly. "This is something young people do. We're not going." I held their hands tightly, my attitude resolute. "Mom, Dad, just think of it as going out to play, to experience something new. You've been carrying so much pain inside, and you need an outlet to let it out." On set, the director had them try a scene about losing a child. My parents didn't need to act. My father stood there, his eyes vacant, tears silently streaming down his face. The despair and restraint of middle-aged parents who had lost a child silenced the entire set. My mother, on the other hand, knelt directly on the ground, pounding the floor with her fists, her heart-wrenching cries far beyond what acting could achieve. The director immediately made his decision. "It's settled, it's you." Through this full release of emotions, my parents felt as if a huge boulder in their hearts had been lifted somewhat. They began taking on various short roles, all playing wealthy parents. My father's elegance and authority, combined with my mother's nobility and compassion, quickly made them popular in the short drama scene. They became the most sought-after, wealthy parents in the industry, because of Kevin's situation. My parents also completely gave up their insistence on me taking the civil service exams. They said, "As long as I am happy and healthy." So I quit my job at the foreign company and returned to the dance studio. In the mirror, my figure remained light and graceful. One day, by chance, I went to visit my parents on a film set and was immediately noticed by the director. The director said I had a broken yet resilient quality, perfect for the lead actress in his new film. A few years passed, and my parents gradually emerged from the shadow of my brother's disappearance, focusing more on their acting careers. Our family became increasingly popular, appearing on several variety shows one after another. My parents began transitioning to various TV dramas, and I, having won a Newcomer Award for that film, became a rising star in the industry. In this life, I also ended up with my husband from my previous lifetime. He approached me backstage at an award ceremony. "Miss Grace, hello. Have we met somewhere before? You seem very familiar to me." I suppressed the surge of heartache and longing within me, the memory of his death for my sake in my previous life still vivid. I teased playfully, "Mr. James, is this how you hit on actresses? That line is so outdated." He was very serious. "No, I mean it. Your eyes remind me of someone very important." A pang shot through me, but I smiled even brighter. "Guess I have a generic face then." My husband came from a wealthy background and was a well-known investor in our circle. To support my career, he became the main investor for many of my works. With his support and my parents' reputation, my resources improved rapidly, and I soon found myself among the ranks of top-tier actresses. Our family became even wealthier and successfully moved up a social class. Although my parents' lives were filled with filming and variety shows, they never gave up searching for Kevin. They even offered substantial rewards abroad, hoping for any leads on Kevin's whereabouts. I secretly worked behind the scenes to prevent all of this. Using my connections, I intercepted most of the truly valuable information, allowing them to receive only some harmless fake news. It wasn't until this day that a call I hadn't managed to intercept reached my father's phone. The caller was a private detective who said that my younger brother had debuted in country tea and had become a household name in that area. My parents were so overjoyed that tears streamed down their faces, and they opened a bottle of champagne to celebrate that very evening. But after the joy came deep confusion. "That scoundrel," my father slammed the table in anger, "he's debuted as a star, so why hasn't he come back all these years? Why hasn't he contacted us? That heartless thing." My mother also wiped away tears. "Does he have some kind of hardship? Is he being controlled by someone?" The agent quickly booked us tickets to country tea. Since our entire family is now in the public eye, the agent repeatedly urged us to be low-key and avoid being photographed by paparazzi or stalker fans. Actually, the detective had sent photos to my parents at the time. However, the email first entered my inbox, where I secretly intercepted it. Kevin in the photo had completely changed. He was wearing extremely exaggerated heavy makeup and revealing female performance attire, sitting on the lap of a fat old white man. The scene was quite eye-searing. I deleted the original email expressionlessly, forwarding only a heavily retouched stage photo to my parents that was so altered it wouldn't even be recognizable to his own mother. Only by letting my parents see my brother in his most authentic and unflattering state, would they become even more disappointed and finally give up completely. That night when we arrived, we didn't go directly to see Kevin. I made an excuse that everyone was too tired from the long flight and should rest at the hotel for the night. Meanwhile, I used this time to contact a local friend and asked him to gather dozens of people to patronize my brother's business the next day. I specifically instructed them to have a great time. The next evening, I took my parents in an unassuming minivan to the place where Kevin worked. It was a seedy bar district, where the air was thick with the smell of alcohol and cheap perfume. My dad's brow furrowed instantly. "Kevin, he's a star in a place like this." I feigned surprise and explained on Kevin's behalf, "Maybe the stars here are just more down to earth." As soon as we stepped into the neon-lit bar, the deafening music hit us head-on. Through the smoky crowd, we spotted Kevin right in the center of the stage. He was wearing heavy, seductive makeup, excitedly screaming and playing a stripping game. Just as he took off his suspenders, revealing a lace bra underneath, the men around him erupted in wild cheers. Mom and Dad stood frozen on the spot, as if struck by lightning. "Wretch!" My father was trembling with rage, grabbing a nearby wine bottle and preparing to charge forward. "This shameless thing, he's disgraced the Green family's honor." "Kevin, my child," my mother cried out in heart-wrenching despair, pushing through the crowd and shoving aside a nearby bodyguard. She took off her coat and wrapped it tightly around her brother. "You scoundrels, get lost, don't you dare touch my son." The men were startled by this sudden turn of events. Seeing our tall and burly bodyguards closing in, they cursed and scattered. Kevin was also stunned. Hastily, he used his clothes to shield himself. When he realized it was his parents and me, he burst into loud, heartrending sobs. Even more sorrowful than my mother. "Why did you come so late? He threw himself into my mother's arms, pounding on her back. I've suffered so much. How much hardship I've endured here, do you even know? I stepped forward at the right moment, pretending to be shocked and heartbroken. Brother, what exactly happened? Weren't you supposed to go to Korea? How did you end up here? Were you tricked into coming? Kevin raised his tear-streaked face, his eyes filled with venomous anger as they glared at me. Stop pretending, Grace. You knew I was in Thailand all along. You did this on purpose. He shoved my mother aside and pointed an accusing finger at my nose, shouting, you deliberately stopped our parents from coming to find me, you vile creature. You're just waiting for me to die out there, that way. Without me as the heir, all of the Green family's money will be yours. Mom and Dad exchanged a glance, their expressions awkward and bewildered. They were clearly shocked by Kevin's shameless accusations. My father cut off his sobbing with a sharp rebuke. What are you talking about? Come back to the country with us first. It's not safe here. Just as we were about to take Kevin away, a man in a floral shirt blocked our path, flanked by several burly men with tattoos. Want to leave? The boss said with a fake smile, cigar in mouth. Sure, pay off what he owes us, and you can take him anytime. Turns out, the money Kevin had brought back then wasn't enough for the full surgery, let alone making his debut, so he signed a star-making contract with astronomical figures with this boss. But success in the entertainment industry isn't that easy. Not only did he fail, but he also ended up deeper in debt. Most of the time, he could only rely on entertaining these guests to pay off his debts, seeing their once healthy eldest son now transformed into this androgynous figure. Forced to sell his body to repay debts, his parents were heartbroken, almost fainting from anger and sorrow. In the end, my father, trembling, swiped the card to pay the enormous sum. After we disembarked from the plane, all three of us put on sunglasses and masks, quietly exiting through the VIP channel. Even so, there were sporadic flashes of camera lights. Kevin clearly hadn't experienced this kind of situation before. He instinctively shrank behind my mother. It wasn't until we got into the minivan that he finally realized what was happening. Watching the reporters still chasing after the car through the window, he said with a sour tone, Mom, Dad, Sister, you've really become big stars now. He was filled with resentment, the jealousy almost spilling out of his eyes, but he quickly adjusted his expression, putting on a look of tears about to fall, his tone as green tea as it could be. But I don't resent my sister at all, although it was my sister who encouraged me to chase my dreams abroad. And it was my sister who told me not to tell you, saying you definitely wouldn't agree. My mother was tenderly wiping his face when she heard this and asked, puzzled, Kevin, what are you talking about? Kevin was stunned. My mother sighed and said softly, your sister never said anything like that. We've known about your social media account for a long time. You snuck out of the country on your own, insisting on becoming a celebrity. What does your sister have to do with it? Kevin's face turned a deep purplish red. He hadn't expected that the secret he thought he had kept so well was already crystal clear to his parents. Embarrassed and furious, he burst into tears again and started throwing a tantrum. I don't care, it's all her fault. She tricked me. She's just jealous that I'm prettier than her and afraid I'll be more famous than her if I debut. His crying was delicate and coquettish, with a hint of the local accent, which made my father's veins bulge with anger. Speak properly to me. My father is a very traditional man at heart. He could accept his son being rebellious, but he simply couldn't tolerate his son turning into such a sissy. If you dare speak in that tone again, I'll break your legs. My father raised his hand in anger, wanting to beat this ungrateful son. I quickly stopped him and persuaded, Dad, don't be angry. Aren't you the most doting on your daughter? Now your son has become your daughter. Just treat him as your daughter and spoil him. My father became even angrier after hearing this. What a sin. It's truly a sin. The atmosphere in the car was unbearably awkward. Before leaving for abroad, my parents had said that my brother had suffered untold grievances outside, and once he returned, we would hold a grand recognition banquet to announce to the world that the Green family's son had been found. But this time when he returned from abroad, everyone in the family tacitly avoided mentioning this matter. In fact, we haven't even publicly announced that my brother has been found, because his current state is simply not presentable. As soon as he got home, Kevin plopped down into the soft sofa and started playing the victim again. I've really suffered a lot these past few years. You have no idea what kind of life I've been living. I nodded and poured him a glass of water. I know, it must be really tough for you, a man, to be bullied by so many other men. I'd go crazy if it were me. A flicker of embarrassment and anger crossed my brother's face. He squeaked in a high-pitched voice. I was forced into it. What else could I do? I know all about it, I said, going along with his words. Now that you're back, you're safe, in your own home. No one will bully you anymore. I even offered to let Kevin move into my room. Brother, my room is the biggest and has the best view, you can stay in my room, and I'll move to the guest room. My parents looked at me with pride and relief in their eyes. My mother held my hand and said, Grace, you've really grown up, you're the most sensible one. My father nodded. Your younger brother has just come back, and his temperament is still unstable, be patient with him. I nodded obediently. Don't worry, Mom and Dad. I'll take good care of my brother. Kevin watched the harmonious scene of our family of 3 with a jealous grinding of his teeth. In the evening, our family sat together in the living room watching TV. When Kevin saw the latest period drama on CCTV, one featuring our parents, his eyes nearly popped out of his head in shock. Dad, Mom, is that you? How did you end up on CCTV? Mom and Dad just gave a casual, their response, over the past few years. They've appeared in at least 8 or 9 dramas on CCTV, taking advantage of the commercial break. I switched the channel to Mango TV. They were replaying my ancient costume drama that had swept the nation, and it was right at the scene where I was in a red outfit, delivering a stunning and powerful fight sequence. Excitedly, I patted my brother's arm. Look, brother, the female lead is me, how's my acting? He sneered sarcastically. You acted pretty poorly, your eyes were like dead fish. Completely devoid of any spirit, I sighed dramatically, pretending to be heartbroken. I'm quite dissatisfied with my own acting skills. I just can't understand why the audience insists on voting me as the best actress of last year through this drama. Isn't that infuriating? Kevin's face turned livid with anger upon hearing this. He grabbed the remote control off the table and hurled it viciously at the 85-inch LCD TV. With a loud bang, the TV screen shattered. Both my parents were startled. Kevin, what are you going crazy for again? My father roared. Kevin shouted back. You're all amazing, you're all big stars, I'm the only one who's a loser. Do you all look down on me? After being heavily provoked by the 3 of us, Kevin reignited his dream of becoming a star. He firmly believed that he was just out of luck. If his parents had supported him back then, he would definitely be more famous than any of us now. He secretly signed up for the most popular girl group audition show of the moment. He said that he had taken a wrong turn before, and now he wanted to get back on the right path and prove himself with his abilities. On the show, he wore a pink girl group uniform and showcased his dancing and singing to the fullest on stage. To be honest, there was some skill involved, but it was more strange than anything else. Soon, there were many voices of doubt online. Why does this person look like a man? Am I the only one who thinks he looks weird? No way. Did contestant number 2 forget to shave their legs? Wow, zoom in on the camera, I can see her thick leg hair. Haha, never seen such an unkempt idol before. What's wrong with having leg hair? Everyone has hair on their body. Our Kevin is the most unique. Unexpectedly, Kevin's unique behavior actually attracted a group of curious fans, and many began to vote for him, after seeing the online attacks. Our parents were worried that my brother wouldn't be able to withstand the cyberbullying and advised him to withdraw from the competition. Kevin, why don't we just quit the competition? Mom and Dad can still support you. However, Kevin misinterpreted our concern as fear of his rising popularity, and his attitude became even more arrogant. You just can't stand to see me succeed. Just you wait, black red is still red. I'm about to blow up. I sneered coldly and anonymously sent a report to both the program team and the State Administration of Radio and Television. Not long after, a shocking revelation hit the internet. A transgender person had participated in the female idol group program. Even more explosive was the fact that the report explicitly pointed out that although this person had undergone surgery, it was not a complete removal. From a medical perspective, he was technically still a male. This caused an absolute uproar. Netizens were calling for the brother to withdraw from the show. The thought of their pure and flawless idol sharing a dormitory and bathroom with a man drove the fans into a frenzy. The production team, under pressure, immediately announced Kevin's disqualification from the competition. After being kicked out of the show, Kevin was furious with embarrassment. He immediately went live on social media, crying as he publicly revealed that he was Grace's biological brother and that our entire family had conspired to suppress him, preventing him from debuting. He showed a family photo and tearfully accused us of persecuting him. As he wished, our entire family was dragged down by him alone. The whole family was blacklisted. All the endorsements, crew, and variety shows sent us harsh letters of termination. Mom and Dad, looking at the overwhelming curses online, Felt like they had lost face for 8 generations. Kevin was still at home smashing things and yelling at us. Other celebrities go all out to support their kids becoming star kids, and they find all kinds of resources. What about you? You don't deserve to be parents, you're just jealous that I'm more popular than you now. The agent's team held an emergency meeting overnight, and everyone's opinions were highly aligned. Sever ties with Kevin immediately and issue a statement to cut off all relations. This is the only way to minimize the damage, but my parents hesitated. My mother's eyes were red, her face showing reluctance. No matter how despicable he is, he's still my son. He's only acting this way because he's been driven mad by the shock. I don't blame my parents. Indeed, no parent would easily give up on their child, even if he were a demon. My parents even went so far as to urge me to cut ties with them. Grace, you're different from us. You're still young. You can't let us hold you back. That's right. Just issue a statement now and push all the blame onto us. Tearfully, I insisted that my brother had just been found, and no one could tear our family apart. I contacted a reality show director I had a good relationship with, all while keeping it hidden from them. This director's show was all about authenticity. Not only was it broadcast live 24/7, but all the participants' phones were confiscated. And many times, the participants themselves didn't even know where the hidden cameras were. I called the director, my tone sincere. Director Wong, our family is being attacked online, my brother is being called a pervert, and we're being labeled as accomplices. We want to participate in your show to present our family's most authentic life to the audience. Director Wong's voice grew excited at once. No problem, Grace. I absolutely will give you this opportunity. I love artists who are genuine like you. So on the first day of the live broadcast, I lied to them, saying that we couldn't stay in the country anymore, and I had contacted resources in Hollywood. Our family of 4, in a state of disarray, boarded a plane bound for a private island. Millions of viewers flooded the live stream's comments section instantly, laughing to death. Still trying to make it in Hollywood. Get this tainted artist off the planet, please. What kind of family is this? Raising a pervert who sneaks into girls' dorms. Not a single decent person in the whole family. A small number of rational fans spoke up for me and my parents. I believe in Grace and Uncle and Auntie. They've acted in so many good works. Their character can't be bad. But soon, the criticism drowned out her words. During the live broadcast, my brother's words and actions once again pushed the audience's tolerance to its limits. He bossed our parents around and treated me even worse, either hitting or yelling at me, and my parents, they patiently taught him and persuaded him all the time. I even knelt down with a thud in front of Kevin, hugging his leg and crying, begging him, brother, I'm begging you, stop tormenting us. What exactly do you want to let go of Mom and Dad? Let go of me. Whatever we can do, we'll give it to you. The online sentiment began to shift the moment I knelt down. Damn, this brother is born evil. Isn't he? How could he treat his parents and sister like this when they've been so good to him? Grace is so pitiful. She even knelt down for her brother. Grace's family should cut ties immediately. There's no saving someone like that. Director Wong found a chance to call me in secret, excitedly saying, our show is now the hottest variety show online. The ratings have broken records. Just hold on a little longer, and don't fall apart. Kevin was clamoring to return to the mainland on the island, saying there was no signal here, and he couldn't check his phone, which was driving him crazy. I had no choice but to give him a work phone from the production team, but I had uninstalled all the domestic apps beforehand, so he couldn't get any news from the outside world. That day, Kevin came running to me, elated. Sis, good news. I've gotten in touch with a big Hollywood director. He's filming in Southeast Asia. And he wants us to go see him right now. He secretly used that phone to book a flight to a small country in Southeast Asia. I looked at his excited face, my heart freezing over. The place he was taking me was the very hell I had known in my previous life. As I boarded the small plane, I sent the final signal to Director Wong from my work phone. Director Wong, my brother is going to sell us to a scam park. Coordinates have been sent. Contact the domestic police and the embassy immediately. Remember to live stream the entire process without interruption. Director Wong gasped, immediately realizing that this would be a historic episode. The plane landed, and we were taken to a heavily guarded park, the place where I spent over a decade in my previous life. Everything here felt so familiar. The boss of the park, smiling, handed Kevin a stack of US dollars. Well done. Your parents and sister are now big stars, worth every penny. Kevin took the money, excitedly kissed it, and said, you guys just focus on filming here. I'm heading back home first. His parents cried out, unable to believe what they were seeing. Kevin, why, what have we ever done to you that you would do this to us? Kevin's face twisted into a vicious scowl as he glared at us. Why, just because you're all more popular than me, that's a capital offense. He burst into a maniacal laughter. I'll go back and tell everyone that you had an accident in Hollywood, dying tragically abroad. I'll use the tragic persona of a family wiped out, playing the pitiful yet strong survivor, stepping on your connections and resources, and make a grand return to the entertainment industry. The live stream's comments section was flooded with furious messages, causing the server to crash multiple times. The police have already been called. This beast deserves to die 10,000 times over. Oh my God, is this live? I can't believe my eyes. Is this even human? While my parents cried out in despair, I remained calm on the surface. I walked step by step towards Kevin, leaned in close to his ear, and whispered in a voice only the two of us could hear, "Brother, I'm sorry I couldn't let you experience the suffering I endured in my previous life again." Kevin hadn't yet reacted. What did you say? The next second, the iron gate of the compound was smashed open by heavy vehicles, and countless armed police officers stormed in. Before Kevin could even understand what was happening, he was pinned to the ground by two police officers. The leaders of the park have all been arrested. I watched as they were fitted with hoods and handcuffs, a sense of sweet revenge welling up inside me. For the rest of their lives, they will face the full weight of the law. Many innocent victims, just like us, who were deceived into coming here, will finally be able to return home. They saw the fully armed crew and reporters and were stunned. When they learned that it was our family who had called the police, they all knelt down to thank us, to thank the program crew. Thank you, you are our saviors. Teacher Grace, I will be your die-hard fan for life. Kevin was sentenced to life imprisonment for kidnapping, intentional injury, and multiple transnational crimes, with the sentences for the various offenses being combined. Upon returning home, the first thing my parents and I did was issue a public statement, officially severing all ties with Kevin. Support, this scumbag doesn't deserve to have family. It's about time it ended. The Green family raised such a thankless wretch. They must have really run out of luck for 8 lifetimes. I feel sorry for Uncle, Auntie, and Grace. I hope they can live well from now on. If you ask me, this family is like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. With such patience, they could succeed at anything. Because of this heart-stopping real-life experience, our family became synonymous with justice and anti-fraud. We've taken on several crime-themed films and TV series, playing roles that involve outsmarting criminals. The legal programs on CCTV also invited us for an in-depth interview. Sitting in the studio with my parents, we recounted that experience, while the scrolling subtitles below the screen read, "Stay vigilant, avoid scams." Our career has reached a new level compared to before, but that was not enough. I anonymously hired a large group of internet trolls to send all of Kevin's photos and videos in country T to major marketing accounts. The videos of him kissing older white men and stripping at bars spread across the internet overnight. Netizens were overjoyed, turning these into all sorts of parody videos and memes. Kevin had completely become a clown. Forever nailed to the pillar of shame on the internet, my parents came across these parody videos while scrolling through short videos. They silently watched the obscene footage. That night, my father drank a lot of alcohol. My mother locked herself in the room and cried all night. The next day, they emerged as if they had finally put down the last heavy stone in their hearts. "Grace, we've seen those videos. We've completely given up. From now on, there will be no such son in the Green family." Kevin had behaved well in prison and was released early after several decades. By then, I had already won every major domestic and international Best Actress award, becoming a respected veteran in the industry. My parents had also become highly esteemed veteran actors, admired by many. After being released from prison, Kevin's first action was to come find us. He stood at the entrance of our villa district, wearing ill-fitting old clothes and hunched over, before he could even get close. The security guard, acting on my parents' instructions, chased him away, treating him like a beggar, yet I still managed to contact him and arranged to meet at an inconspicuous private cafe. Tears streaming down his face, he clutched my hand. "Sister, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Please, let Mom and Dad forgive me." I smiled as I pulled my hand back and handed him a tissue. "Don't be in such a hurry. You're still quite popular, even if it's for the wrong reasons. I suggest you become an internet celebrity. Live streaming and selling products would definitely make you money." After decades of education in prison, Kevin seemed much more honest. No, I just want to find an ordinary job to support myself. I don't want to be in the public eye anymore." However, whenever he went to look for a job and was recognized, the other party would immediately drive him away, with no other options left. He had no choice but to follow my advice and start a live stream. On the first day of his broadcast, the live stream was flooded with angry netizens, and the screen was filled with all kinds of harsh words. Kevin's mentality was no longer as strong as it had been in his youth. He was utterly despondent and ran to the overpass intending to end his life. It was I who arrived just in time to save him. But I wasn't acting out of kindness. I patted Kevin on the shoulder, sighed, and said, "It seems you can't make a living here in the country. Fine, I'll help you one last time. I'll give you some money to send you abroad, so you can start over in a new place." He was indeed grateful to me. Thinking that I truly remembered our past relationship, I directly contacted T-Country for him. The boss from back then had already passed away, and now his daughter was running the business. My younger brother Kevin, do you remember him? He wants to go back to his old line of work. The person on the phone laughed cheerfully. Of course I remember, we're just short-handed right now. Some of our guests have rather peculiar tastes, you know, they just love someone his age. Don't worry, Sister Grace, when he comes back, we guarantee he'll have more orders than he can handle every day. A week later, I received a video from the other party. In the video, my brother, now well past 50, was kneeling on the ground serving a guest. His makeup even more exaggerated than it had been back then. I felt at ease and completely deleted the video. My husband drove, and we went together to my parents' house for hot pot. Outside the window, the sun was shining brightly, while inside, the hot pot was steaming. In this life, the people I love are all living happily and beautifully. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. Before the graduation dinner, I casually bought a lottery ticket. My best friend saw it and asked me to give it to her, and in front of everyone, she promised to share the winnings with me if she won. But later, when the ticket actually won, to avoid having to share the money with me, she tricked me into returning to my hometown and hired someone to push me off a cliff. My body was left in the mountain stream to be devoured by wild dogs. The mother and grandmother who depended on each other also died tragically in a fall while searching for me. When I opened my eyes again, I was back before the graduation dinner. Bella, didn't you just get your tutoring fee? I want to drink bubble tea king and eat some West Tree cream puffs. Go buy some for me, okay? On the other end of the phone, Lisa's voice came, as if it were only natural. It was only then that I realized I had been reborn. A mix of joy and indignation surged within me. My mind filled with the image of Lisa standing on the mountainside, looking down with a sinister and triumphant smirk, waiting for me to die completely. After 2 lifetimes, I still felt a chill run down my spine, and I couldn't help but shudder. The owner of the convenience store next to me reminded, "Little girl, grab what you need quickly, the fridge is losing its chill." When I didn't respond, Lisa on the other end of the phone also urged, "Bella, did you hear me? I'm not deaf." I mumbled carelessly and hung up the phone. When I was paying the bill, the boss casually asked me, "The double color ball lottery is drawn tonight, want to randomly buy a ticket?" The same scene from my previous life, thinking about how I had just spent a long time in front of the fridge, piecing together discounts. I felt a bit embarrassed. Since it was only 2 yuan, I agreed, but I didn't let the machine choose. Instead, I used the birthdays of Lisa and me, split into 6 red balls, plus my favorite number 11 as the blue ball. Who could have known that the 2 yuan lottery ticket would win first prize that very night, with a jackpot of 5 million, play this number 10 times. Back to the present, I wrote down the same number and handed it to the boss, asking him to play it 10 times. The boss cheerfully handed me the printed lottery ticket, which I quickly tucked into the inner pocket of my backpack and zipped it up, instead of, like in my previous life, carelessly placing it in the bag with the drinks, allowing Lisa to find it. Tomorrow everyone will be leaving school one by one, so the 6 of us in the dorm decided to have a dinner tonight as a farewell gathering. The drinks at the hot pot restaurant are expensive, so they asked me to buy some at the convenience store on my way after my tutoring session. I was the last to arrive. As I set down the drinks I was carrying, Lisa kept staring at me, and after confirming that I didn't have what she wanted, she immediately turned stern and demanded, "Where's my bubble tea and the puffs?" "Didn't buy them," I replied directly. My roommate Penny tried to smooth things over. "Lisa, bubble tea and puffs aren't on the way anyway. Since we're having hot pot, just drink soda with everyone." Lisa ignored her, stood up, and grabbed my hand. "I don't care. Bella, I want bubble tea and puffs, go buy them for me right now." another roommate, Ella, had always disliked her. She half-jokingly said to me, "Bella, it's your fault for spoiling Lisa like a daughter. Look how you've indulged her." Lisa glared at her, then turned to look at me. Still unresponsive, she directly snatched the bowl and chopsticks I had just picked up and slammed them heavily onto the table. "Bella, what's wrong with you today? Didn't you hear me talking to you?" "Heard you. You want tea and puffs, go buy them yourself. Are you missing hands or feet?" I tried to hold back, but I just couldn't be nice to her. I nonchalantly picked up my chopsticks and reached for the beef in the pot, while secretly wishing I could pour all this hot soup down her throat. Perhaps sensing the unusual atmosphere, the other roommates urged Lisa not to act spoiled. Lisa snorted, grabbed her chopsticks, and with a loud slap, knocked my chopsticks out of my hand. "You didn't buy it for me, so you're not allowed to eat." I snatched her chopsticks from her hand and tossed them into the trash. "Lisa, I'm just your roommate, not a turtle in a wishing well. If you don't want to eat, get out. Stop bothering me." Everyone at the table was startled by my reaction. Some tried to pull me back, while others went to calm Lisa. "Forget it, Bella, Lisa's princess syndrome isn't something new. Why bother arguing with her? This is our farewell dinner, let's all be happy, less talking. We might not all gather like this again in the future. Think about it, my personal grudge with Lisa doesn't need to drag everyone else into the mess." So I forced down the hatred and anger in my heart and sat back down to eat. Penny deliberately had me switch seats with her, sitting between her and Ella. Lisa finally noticed that I was different from usual, quieted down, and kept observing me from the side. Halfway through the meal, I went to the restroom. When I returned, I saw Lisa holding my backpack. She had actually found the lottery ticket from the inner pocket and was looking at it intently. I quickly stepped over, snatched the lottery ticket back, put it back in my backpack, zipped it up, and slung it over my shoulder. "Lisa, do you even have any manners? Did I give you permission to go through my bag?" Lisa shrugged, looking innocent, as if I were being unreasonable. "Did you eat gunpowder today? I've been doing this all along, and you never said anything. I just wanted to find a tissue in your bag." "Oh, and that lottery ticket in your bag, give it to me. I have better luck than you. Don't worry, if I win, I'll definitely split it with you." She was right. In my previous life, not only could she rummage through my bag at will, but I also almost always obliged her every request. It was laughable, really, all because on the first day of school, when I arrived at the dormitory, I saw Lisa's mother, with her hair already white, bent over, helping her tidy up the bed. I felt a pang of sympathy and stepped forward to help. Unexpectedly, before leaving the school that day, Lisa's mother tearfully entrusted Lisa to me. "Bella, Lisa's life has been hard. She was abandoned at birth in a garbage dump, and I, an old woman, picked her up. I raised her by collecting cardboard. She has a pitiful background, unlike you city kids, but I've always indulged her since she was little, so she can be a bit spoiled. Auntie saw you running around. A reliable child, so I'll have to ask you to take good care of our Grace from now on." Back then, being young and inexperienced, I felt an overwhelming sense of mission upon being entrusted with this responsibility. To be honest, over these 4 years, I've been just like Ella said, like Lisa's mother, enduring, tolerating, and taking care of her. But what about her? In my previous life, after I gave her the lottery ticket, we all waited together at the hot pot restaurant for the results. When we found out it really won, our excited screams almost blew the roof off the place. The owner of the hot pot restaurant and other customers were all drawn over. In front of everyone, Ella said to Lisa, "Lisa, you promised to split it with Bella, and we all heard it. You have to keep your word." She patted her chest. "Of course, as soon as the Dragon Boat Festival holiday is over, I'll go claim the prize with Bella. 5 million. After taxes it's 4 million, half for each person is 2 million. A fresh graduate like me had never seen so much money before, and I was overwhelmed with joy. We all hugged and jumped around, singing and dancing. No one noticed the calculation in Lisa's eyes. The next day was the Dragon Boat Festival holiday, and the roommates left one by one. Lisa, however, invited me to her home to watch the dragon boat races, using the excuse of her foster mother. On the way, she excitedly planned with me how to spend the 2 million. And I even seriously made a financial plan for her. I never expected what I was about to face next. Before getting off the high-speed train, she reminded me to keep the lottery win a secret, especially from our cousin Lucas, who would be picking us up later. I agreed with the idea of quietly amassing wealth, so I naturally went along with her, not mentioning a word about it in front of her family. On the first day at her home, Lisa's foster mother and Lucas were very warm and welcoming to me. And we really did go to watch the dragon boat races and eat a lot of local snacks, so the next day, when she and Lucas suggested taking me up the mountain to dig for wild vegetables, I had no suspicions at all and naively followed along. The three of us chatted and laughed as we reached the top of the mountain. Before long, Lisa used the excuse of needing to find a place to use the restroom. As I was digging the wild vegetables they had pointed out to me, Lucas suddenly bumped into me. And I stumbled, rolling down the slope toward the edge of the mountain. Until the moment of weightless falling, I still thought it was an accident, that Lucas had accidentally bumped into me, and in a panic, I grabbed onto a branch at the edge of the cliff. I had intended to steady myself, catch my breath, and then call for help, but it was then that I overheard the conversation between Lisa and Lucas. "You're really heartless. I heard from your mom that she's been quite caring towards you at school, taking care of me, my ass. Does she think I don't know she's always looked down on me, spreading rumors that my mom was a scavenger, calling me an unwanted orphan? Acting like she's so precious. Isn't she going to die in this godforsaken wilderness and rot like fertilizer? Don't worry, the 50,000 will still be yours. I'll transfer it to you in a couple of days after I finish my business." I immediately understood that Lisa had paid 50,000 to Lucas to buy my life. I clenched my teeth, intending to hold on for a while, waiting for them to leave before slowly climbing up. As a result, Lisa was so worried that she actually risked her life climbing to the edge of the cliff to take a look down. When she saw that I was still hanging from the tree, she angrily picked up stones and started throwing them at me. I didn't even have time to open my mouth before countless stones rained down on my body and head. In the end, I couldn't hold on any longer and fell off the cliff, afraid that I wasn't dead yet. Lisa dragged Lucas to run down halfway up the mountain, where they watched from a distance as I took my last breath by the river. Several hours later, she reported to the police that I had gone missing, lost. The search team found parts of me almost completely devoured by wild dogs by the river after 2 days. My mother and grandmother participated in the search, but due to the slippery, unfamiliar roads on a cloudy day, my grandmother slipped. My mother tried to save her, and both fell off a cliff. Lisa and Lucas provided each other's alibis. And since there was no indication that I had any enmity with them, the police eventually closed the case as an accident. Now looking at this seemingly innocent, yet venomous face before me, though hatred surged within me, I still kept persuading myself, life is long, and having this chance to be reborn is hard-earned. I should make good use of this unexpected fortune to give my mom and grandma a better life, instead of getting entangled with such a despicable person. Strange. It's clearly my thing. Why should I give it to you and let you share half with me? I sneered. Bella, you, having always given in to her before. Today every word seemed to choke her, and Lisa started to feel grievance, tears beginning to well up in her eyes. Her roommates came to console her again. This meal, due to the conflict between Lisa and me, wasn't as pleasant as it had been in my previous life. Naturally, we didn't wait to watch the lottery draw together at the Hot Pot restaurant. The dorm leader asked for the bill, paid it herself, and then everyone split the cost equally. Each person pays 76, and everyone takes turns scanning the code. When it's Lisa's turn, she looks at me. "Aren't you going to help me pay too? Do you know what AA means?" I ask with a smile. "But you didn't help me buy the tea and cream puffs earlier. If you pay for this now, we'll be even." Lisa crossed her arms and wore an arrogant expression. I suppressed the urge to slap her twice. "Do I owe you something? Why should I pay? And you say it's even?" Ella chimed in. "Lisa, come on, Bella has been covering you for 4 years. Don't be so fussy about the last meal, just pay for it yourself already." Lisa stomped her foot and swayed her body like a rattle drum. "She's been covering me for 4 years, so why should I pay for the last meal myself? I refuse to be a fool anymore." With that, I turned and walked away. Even after I returned to the dorm, Lisa still hadn't paid her share for the meal. The others thought she was just being stubborn with me, but only I knew that it wasn't just about not wanting to pay. It was because she simply had no money left. Her adoptive mother gave her a generous allowance every month, but over the 4 years of university, she had to have the latest phone, new clothes every month, expensive skincare products, and on top of that, she had to buy gifts for her crush. In the dormitory of 6 people, she was the one who received packages every day. When her living expenses ran out, and she had borrowed from everyone she could, she turned online loan. Now, as soon as she receives her monthly living expenses from home, the first thing she does is pay back her debts. For meals and daily necessities, she openly and shamelessly relies on me. Was I not already frugal? I had few expenses, enough living expenses from home, and I tutored whenever I had time. So I always felt that bringing an extra meal for someone else wasn't a big deal. Looking back now, I must have had a door slammed on my brain to make excuses for her vain and reckless behavior, thinking she was just compensating for her inferiority complex with material things. I was truly stupid in my previous life. Before long, it was already 9:30. While my roommates and Lisa were still arguing over the 76 yuan, I climbed into my bed, took out my phone, and opened the official website of the welfare lottery to check the winning numbers that had just been drawn: 03, 07, 09, 12, 20, 30 plus 11. I murmured to myself, all matched, they all matched. I instinctively sat up straight. It was only at this moment that I fully believed I had truly been reborn. The 5 of them below looked up at me in unison, especially Lisa, whose eyes were filled with scrutiny and suspicion. I quickly covered my calf. Cramp, my leg is cramping. After saying that, I put on a pained expression and started massaging my leg. Ella and Penny came over, one helping to straighten my legs and the other massaging them, but Lisa's gaze never left my face. The next day, the roommates gradually left one by one, leaving only Lisa and me in the dormitory. I had intended to wait for her to leave first, and then I would go straight home. As soon as the Dragon Boat Festival mini break was over, I planned to go claim my prize. Unexpectedly, she was still standing by her suitcase, waiting for me. Let's go. Where to? Didn't you promise my mom that you'd rent a place with me and find the same job? She demanded, her tone firm and justified. It was only then that I remembered, in my previous life, I had secured an offer from my dream foreign company early on due to my outstanding academic performance and numerous certifications. But Lisa had wasted 4 years indulging in entertainment, and by the time she was about to graduate, she still hadn't found a suitable job. A few days before, in my previous life, when she learned that I was preparing to work at a foreign company and move back home, she called her foster mother in front of me, sobbing that I was leaving to fly solo, leaving her all alone in H City. Her mom called, her voice trembling with tears, begging me to help her daughter one last time, to be a good person and see it through. I couldn't bring myself to refuse. So I reluctantly agreed to rent a place with her and help her find a job. Looking back now, I realize I was a complete idiot with a martyr complex, and I deserved everything I got. Back to the present, I opened WeChat and sent her a few real estate agent contacts. Renting a house, they'll help you find one faster. As for jobs, try Boss. After saying this, I tried to pull my suitcase away, but she held onto it tightly, refusing to let go. Bella, what exactly did I do to offend you? Why are you suddenly so heartless to me? I couldn't possibly tell her I had been reborn, and even less could I reveal that in her previous life, she had hired someone to kill me for 5 million. Lisa, we're just classmates. I've taken care of you for 4 years. I've done my part. Just think about it. How many favors have you taken from me over these years? I told you last night. I don't want to be a fool anymore, so from now on, let's go our separate ways. She still clung tightly to my suitcase, refusing to let go. But I don't have any money to rent a place. The money my mom gave me for rent, I already used it to pay off my loan. The loan has cut me off. I can't keep borrowing. Her eyes welled up with tears, as if it were my fault she was broke. You're an adult now, so if you don't have money, go find a job. It's none of my business. Let go. Or I'll call the building manager. The jobs I can get either pay low wages or are all physical labor. How can I do that? I was so exasperated that I couldn't even speak. Coincidentally, Ella turned back to get the forgotten pillow and overheard our conversation. Unable to hold back, she spoke up for me. Lisa, that's enough. You can't do physical labor. Do you really think you're some kind of young lady? Your mom worked so hard collecting trash to raise you, and it was all for nothing. Lisa heard this and pushed me furiously. Bella, did you tell them that my mom is a trash picker, and you still act like a good person in front of me all the time? You've gone too far. In my previous life, she also insisted that I was the one who spread the news about her foster mother being a trash picker, but in my previous life, for the sake of her fragile pride, I never told anyone. Ella chuckled. Does Bella really need to say it? Your foster mother told the whole class, including the counselor, about your background on the first day of school, all in private, just so everyone would be humble and take care of you, and you, on the other hand, are busy borrowing money from online loans to pretend to be some rich lady. Only Bella is foolish enough to indulge you for 4 years. I rubbed my forehead. How could I not be foolish? I was practically foolish to the extreme. So it turned out that her foster mother didn't just tell me, she told the whole class. Lisa stood frozen in place. Give it here, you. Ella helped me pull the luggage out of Lisa's hands. After leaving the school gate, Ella shared a big piece of gossip with me. It was said that Ella had been dressing up at any cost all this time just to hook up with the wealthy young Master Chen from the neighboring department, with 3 years of relentless pursuit seemingly about to bear fruit. Someone from our class went and spilled the beans to Chen about Lisa's background. Chen hadn't really cared about money to begin with, but he found it problematic that Lisa would lie about her background for such a reason. A few days ago, he once again made it clear to Lisa that he wasn't interested. Lisa had always believed that her foster mother had only told me about her origins. No wonder in her previous life, besides not wanting to share her money with me, she also hated me so much, repaying kindness with enmity. So she thought I was the one who ruined her chance to rise from rags to riches. After chatting about gossip and shopping with Ella, it was already dark by the time I got home. I thought I could finally shake off Lisa, enjoy my vacation, collect the prize, and quietly live the life of a low-profile wealthy woman. I planned to tell no one about the winning, not even my mother or grandmother. With 40 million, I would deposit some in fixed-term savings and invest the rest in financial products. I would still continue working, and every month, I would give a fixed amount of money to my mother and grandmother, and take a few trips abroad each year. In a few years, I'll pay off a bigger house for the family in full, saying I saved the down payment from work and investments, and slowly paid off the mortgage. In short, I'll quietly bring the whole family a better life. Thinking of this, I can't be bothered to fish out the keys, and I happily pat the front door. Mom, your good girl is home. The door opened, and I was about to give Mom and Grandma a big bear hug, making up for the regrets of my previous life. The next second, I was stunned. It was Lisa who opened the door. I was just about to say, "Why are you still haunting me?" Grandma appeared behind her, her eyes crinkling with joy. "Bella, why are you only coming back now? Lisa helped your mom and me all afternoon. We've prepared a whole table of delicious dishes, just waiting for you to come back and celebrate your graduation. Come in quickly." Grandma hasn't been this happy in such a long time. Indeed, ever since my father's accidental death in a car crash 5 years ago, I hadn't seen Grandma smile like this. Hating to dampen the old lady's spirits, I could only force myself to walk into the house. "Bella, I only planned to come by after graduation to say goodbye to Auntie and Grandma, but Grandma insisted that I stay for a couple of days." Since she was so happy, I agreed. Lisa's smile sent a chill down my spine. Just as I was trying to think of a polite excuse to get rid of her, my mother came out of the kitchen carrying a dish, smiling warmly at Lisa. "Lisa, why don't you find a job in H-City? We have an empty room here, so you won't need to rent a place. This is all my fault." I used to bring Lisa home for meals every weekend without fail, and I would tell my mom and grandma how hard she had it, and with 3 women in the house, all of them overflowing with compassion, they treated Lisa like a precious gem. "No, Mom, my cousin said she's coming to visit during her vacation next month." I quickly made up an excuse and subtly gave my mom a meaningful glance, hoping she would understand. "That's fine, she'll probably only stay for a few days. You can share a room with her." "Lisa, don't be polite with Auntie and Grandma. Feel free to stay, and look for a job in H-City. To us, it's like gaining another daughter." This time, Lisa beat me to it, agreeing enthusiastically and giving me a triumphant look. This meal left me feeling extremely uneasy, constantly calculating what I should do, with the food stuck in my throat. In contrast, Lisa not only managed to charm my mother and grandmother into a state of delight at the dinner table, but after the meal, she also accompanied them to watch TV, giving my grandmother massages and foot rubs. I'm usually not very talkative at home, so my parents didn't notice my troubled state. Even though I didn't interact with Lisa at all, they just assumed I was tired from moving my luggage today and urged me to go to bed early. The events of the day had been so overwhelming that after hiding the lottery ticket, I lay in bed, thinking, and eventually fell asleep for real. Perhaps because there was something unresolved on my mind, I didn't sleep very deeply. In the middle of the night, I heard a faint rustling sound beside me. Half opening my eyes, I saw, by the dim light of the nightlight, Lisa carefully rummaging through my backpack, with the sound of a series of tiny zippers. Her movements gradually shifted from cautious to frantic. "How could it not be here? It was definitely placed right here, you bitch," she cursed under her breath, glancing in my direction. And I quickly closed my eyes. She began rummaging through my suitcase, drawers. Is she looking for the lottery ticket? Does she know I won the lottery? Those numbers were special. She must have memorized them while we were eating hot pot. My unusual behavior in the dorm aroused her suspicion, and with a simple check, she found out I had won. That's why she went to such lengths to stay at my place. Trying to steal my lottery ticket before I could claim the prize, I pretended to turn over. And hearing my movement, she quickly crouched down. This trick worked, so I turned over a few more times. Seeing that things were not going well, she took advantage of me turning my back to her and quickly slipped out. After she left, I waited until I no longer heard any movement at the door, then pretended to get up and go to the living room for a drink of water before returning to my room and locking the door. I thought about it for a long time in the second half of the night, anyway. I couldn't get rid of her in a short while. It would be better to wait until dawn. I'll find an excuse to take the lottery ticket and go out to hide for a while. There are still 2 days left of the Dragon Boat Festival holiday. I'll come back after I collect the prize on Monday, and she won't be able to do anything about it. Thinking of this, I locked the door again and closed my eyes to sleep. The next day, I woke up to the sound of my mother knocking on the door. "Bella, hurry up and get up. You're the only one left." I stumbled to the door, still half asleep, but there they were, the 3 of them, fully geared up, standing at the door with bags packed. "Mom, what's this?" I was completely baffled. Lisa beside her was beaming with joy. "Grandma mentioned yesterday that she wanted to watch the dragon boat races. I just asked my mom, and there happens to be a dragon boat competition in our hometown tomorrow. So I plan to take Auntie and Grandma back to watch it. It's not far. Just 2 hours by high-speed train and another hour by bus, so, it's still Lisa who thinks of everything. Bella hasn't taken us on a trip yet. I never thought that at my old age, I'd get to see a dragon boat race live again." "Mom, it's not just about watching the dragon boat race. This season, Lisa says there are many wild vegetables in the mountains that we've never seen before, fresh and delicious." Seeing Grandma and Mom so happy, the words of refusal I wanted to say were instantly swallowed, but thinking back to my previous life, she had used the same trick to lure me to her hometown, and I still felt a lingering fear. "I can't go, Grandma. There's also a dragon boat race in the neighboring Bin City. How about I take you there to watch it, and we won't trouble Lisa's family?" Leaning over, Lisa put her arm around my shoulder. "How is it a bother, Bella? You've taken care of me for so many years. My mom has always wanted to thank you. Besides, Auntie and Grandma already made a plan with my mom. If you don't go, she'll be really disappointed." I was about to come up with another excuse, but before I could even open my mouth, my mom cut me off. "Bella, Lisa already told us about your little spat. Is that really worth holding a grudge over? Are you still a child? You have 20 minutes to change. If you don't go, we'll leave without you." After saying that, she pushed me into the room, closed the door, and urged me to hurry up and change my clothes. What a Lisa! I really underestimated her. She even managed to tattle to my mom before I could, and now if I speak up, my mom and Grandma will definitely just say I'm being petty. Telling them about the reincarnation, they'd most likely think it's just a made-up excuse because I didn't want to go. If I really let the 2 of them go back with her, I would be 120% worried. In a moment of desperation, I thought of Chen. Chen and I were high school classmates. For the 4 years of university, he had actually been pursuing me. Unfortunately, in my previous life, all I cared about was studying and making money. After I found out that Lisa had feelings for him, I deliberately distanced myself from him and repeatedly warned him not to hurt Lisa. In my previous life, after I was murdered, even the police didn't suspect the cause of my death, only Chen. Before my soul dispersed, I still saw him tirelessly hiring private detectives to investigate Lisa. Thinking about now having to ask him to seduce Lisa, I slapped myself in the face. But this is the most effective method I can think of in a short time. I whispered into the phone as I called Chen. "Chen, I really am a dog, but if you don't agree to help me, I'm going to die." I begged him to do whatever it took to get Lisa out, to keep her occupied as much as possible. Chen was silent for a moment, then said softly, "Bella, I told you early on that Lisa isn't a good person, but you're just head over heels. One sentence, will you help or not?" "Help, Bella, you owe me a date. 1 isn't enough, I owe you 5. After hanging up the phone, I practically pressed my ear against the door. Indeed, Lisa's phone rang shortly after. After telling my mom and Grandma, she grabbed her phone and went outside to answer it. When she returned, her tone was slightly reserved but couldn't hide her excitement. "Auntie, Grandma, I'm sorry, but I have something urgent that requires me to go out right now. I'll try to rush back as soon as possible. Please wait for my news at home." I breathed a sigh of relief. Lisa still knew how to count. the countless assets of the Chen family and Chen's handsome appearance combined were ultimately more tempting than the few tens of millions in lottery winnings I held in my hand. After hearing the door close, I made another call, then, pretending I didn't know anything, I went out. Pulled my mom and grandma along for a shopping trip, letting them wait as we strolled. Chen's messages kept coming in, reporting to me in real time on his and Lisa's movements. To stall for time without getting too close, he invited her directly to his own horse farm, where he had a coach teach her to ride while he watched from the sidelines. In the middle of it, he called me, looking utterly wronged. After riding, I can only hold out for at most another hour. I can't last much longer. You have no idea. As soon as no one's around, she's all over me. Bella, I'm doing all this for you, you know. I glanced at the time and saw that 2 hours had already passed since we left the house. The person I invited should be arriving soon. Mom and Grandma, carrying large bags and bundles, had long forgotten about going to watch the dragon boat races, and kept asking me if I had struck it rich. I only said that I had signed a contract with the company and received a small relocation fee. When Lisa returned to the community gate, sunburned and exhausted, the sun was just about to set. Mother and grandmother wanted to step forward to greet them, but I stopped them and told them to just watch. Lisa and Chen got out of the car. Chen said goodbye to her and took a box out of the trunk. Inside were all the gifts Lisa had given him over the years, a wallet, headphones, a belt. Lisa was stunned. She had thought that Chen was finally moved by her love and had asked her out. The chance to become his future wife was within her grasp, but instead, she ended up with a dismissal card. She took the box, her eyes brimming with tears as she looked at Chen. Chen, I really don't come from the kind of family they say I do. My biological parents left me a lot of money, 40 million, I can be worthy of you. Chen shook his head. I don't dislike you because of your background. The first reason is that I already have someone I like, and the second is, Lisa interrupted him, Bella, right? I know. What is it about her that I can't compare to? Do you really think she's as good as she seems on the surface? She's been bullying me behind the scenes, and her private life is incredibly messy. So she had always known that Chen liked me. My mother and grandmother turned pale as soon as she said that, especially my mother. If I hadn't held her back tightly, she would have rushed up to slap Lisa twice. Let me finish, she said. The second reason is that you have a problem with your character. Bella treated you so well, yet you spread such rumors about her. Chen sneered coldly and continued, also, don't call me brother. It's disgusting. Bella, this young man seems pretty good. My grandmother tugged at my sleeve. Lisa, is this the surprise you gave me? A low, angry male voice came from the other side of the neighborhood. Lucas clenched his teeth and tightened his fists as he walked towards them. Seeing this vicious face, I instinctively clenched my fists. I sent a message to Chen, telling him to get out of there quickly. Chen's driver, seeing Lucas approaching with great force, immediately got out of the car and stood beside Chen. Lucas, why are you here? Seeing him, Lisa's face, which had just been pretending to be shy, turned pale with fear. After reading my message, Chen stepped back and got into the car. Since you have a friend looking for you, I'll take my leave first. No, Chen. Lisa tried to pull Chen again, but her hand slipped, and the contents of the box scattered all over the floor. Chen didn't pay any attention. He instructed the driver to drive away, and not forgetting to send me a message. Bella, only you can make me come running whenever you call and leave whenever you dismiss me. Lucas, what are you trying to do? You've ruined my plans. Lisa snapped at Lucas. Lucas turned around and slapped her across the face, then picked up the items from the ground one by one and hurled them at her. Lisa, you bitch, for the sake of sending you to school with your mother, I've thrown away my dignity and risked my life, stealing and robbing. And you're using my hard-earned money to chase after some rich boy. Lisa had nowhere to dodge and stumbled, falling to the ground. No, Lucas, listen to me, don't try to argue. I heard everything you just said to that pretty boy. No need for anything else. Just come back to the village with me now to get married. No, I won't go back. Isn't it just about money? Give me 2 days, and I'll pay you back 10 times the money you spent on my education. Lucas seemed to find this the funniest thing he'd ever heard. He blew his nose and casually wiped his hand on his clothes. Are you going to say again that your real parents left you 40 million? Lisa, you lying bitch. Everyone in the village knows you're the child of widow Lucy from the village head and old Lee from the neighboring village. Both families abandoned you, and you were left in the trash for your mother to pick up. We thought that by supporting your education, you'd find a decent job. Since you can't, get back to the village and have my babies. No, Lucas, listen to me, you must be tired of my body by now. I found you a pure one, you're just in time. Bella, do you remember her, the one you delivered something to at her school last time? I planned to trick her whole family back to the village. Mom, Grandma, and I all gasped in shock, upon closer reflection, in my previous life, when I first tumbled down the mountain. There was a part of their conversation that I hadn't heard clearly. Now it seems that Lisa initially wanted me to replace her, staying in the village to bear children for Lucas while she escaped with the money. Lucas probably just wanted to knock me down at the time, and it was truly an accident that he pushed me off the mountain. Upon further reflection, it's terrifying to think that if I hadn't fallen off the mountain, my life might have been worse than death. They would have reported me as missing, then hidden me in a cave no one knew about, waiting for the dust to settle. Lucas did odd jobs at a construction site near our school. A few days ago, when he came to deliver something to Bella and she wasn't there, he left my phone number. They had always addressed each other as cousins. If it weren't for the previous life, where I caught them embracing on the mountainside just before my death, I would never have discovered this secret, just now. I called Lucas and told him that Lisa had graduated, and as her boyfriend, he should come to pick her up as a surprise. He didn't deny being her boyfriend, probably thinking that Lisa had finally agreed to go public with their relationship. Still dreaming, huh? Bella said she won't go back with you. She asked me to come and take you away. By the way, I should thank her. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't have known that all the money I've been slaving away for all these years was being wasted by you like this. Lisa was momentarily speechless. You mean Bella asked you to come? It wasn't just her who would strike first. I also told Lucas over the phone that I would immediately take my mom and grandma on a trip, and I transferred 5,000 yuan to him, asking him to take Lisa out to play as an apology for my last-minute cancellation. Lisa looked toward our home in the neighborhood, her gaze sharp and fierce. We quickly hid ourselves. Lucas didn't respond to him again, pulling her up and shoving her into the minivan that had just pulled up. Lisa struggled with all her might, but the onlookers, realizing it was a private dispute, didn't step forward to stop it, content to watch the spectacle. Listen to me, she's tricking you, she has a lot of money, just listen to me, and we'll have a lot of money. Lisa used all her strength to block Lucas from closing the door. Lucas clenched his jaw and sneered, I've never seen a scammer who would willingly transfer money, but you've scammed me plenty. We'll settle this at home. Slowly, with a forceful tug, he pried her fingers off, then slammed the door shut with a loud bang. Only after seeing the van drive off into the distance did my mother, grandmother, and I emerge from the flower garden. That night, I spun a few white lies and soothed them for a long time before finally coaxing them to sleep. I was also extremely tired. Fortunately, there was only one day left before the end of the holiday. Before falling asleep, I vaguely saw a message from Chen, reminding me not to forget what I had promised him. 8. The next day, I woke up to the aroma of my grandmother's hand-ground soy milk. Seeing me come out of the living room, my mom and grandma each gave me a hug, still shaken from yesterday's incident. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. It's the fried dough sticks I ordered for takeout. Paired with your grandma's soy milk, it's a match made in heaven. Bella, go open the door and get it. Without thinking, I walked straight to the door. The door had barely opened halfway when two figures squeezed in. It was Lucas and Lisa. Before I could even cry out, a silver dagger was pressed against my neck. The icy touch jolted me awake instantly. Lucas pushed me into the room, while Lisa followed behind, locking the door. Grandma, who already had a weak heart, saw the dagger at my throat and fainted immediately from fright. Mother, while trying to help Grandma up, cried and pleaded with them not to hurt me, saying that they could have money or anything else if they just talked it out. Lisa didn't pay any attention. She took out the rope she had prepared in advance and tied the three of us to chairs. Bella, I won't waste words with you. Hand over the lottery ticket right now. That way, your mom and grandma can feel a bit better. Otherwise. She picked up the hot soy milk from the dining table and smiled at me with a terrifyingly vicious expression. In the next second, all the hot soy milk in the basin was poured over my mother's head. My mother's skin turned red from the scalding soy milk, but to spare me from worry, she bit her lips tightly, enduring the pain without a sound. I struggled with all my might, but the ropes binding me showed no sign of loosening. With all my strength, I ran toward my mother, only to be pinned down by Lucas. To be honest, my strength was no match for Lucas, a man who had been working on construction sites for years. Lisa, are you stupid? Even if you take the lottery ticket and cash it in, I can still report you afterward, and you won't get a thing. Let me go. I can sign an agreement with you, and we'll split the winnings 50-50 after cashing it in. I knew she wouldn't believe me, But I was just buying time, in the chaos earlier. I had managed to pull the shark clip off my hair and throw it downstairs when they weren't looking. My apartment was on the second floor, and I just hoped someone would see it or get hit by it and bring it up to ask about it. Bella, are you stupid or am I stupid? Lottery tickets are anonymous. I just need to wait until dark, knock you both out, and take you back to the village without anyone knowing. Then I can go cash in the prize myself. Why would I let you do it, after saying that? She casually picked up the fruit knife on the table, the silver blade pressing against my mother's temple. My heart was in my throat, but I had to force myself to stay calm. What about you? Do you really believe her? She betrayed you and did everything she could to get rid of you. Don't let yourself be used as a pawn again. I glanced back at Lucas, this time, in order to turn the situation around. Lisa actually took the initiative to tell Lucas about the lottery ticket. Yes, 40 million yuan. Even if Lucas didn't trust her, he would still come along to try his luck. Lucas smirked, pulling at the corners of his mouth. Stop stirring up trouble here. As soon as I start work at the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow, I'll get a certificate with this bitch and then go claim the prize. Just hand over the lottery ticket quickly and suffer less. No wonder. So Lisa used getting a certificate with him as a trade-off. If you say that, even if I give you the lottery ticket, my mom and grandma might not survive, so why should I give it to you? I caught a glimpse of a moving shadow under the front door. I wanted to shout for help, but the knife in Lisa's hands still made me too afraid to take the risk. I pretended to raise my voice casually, hoping that the person outside the door could hear and be alerted. The shadow outside the door indeed stopped moving, and after a few seconds, it seemed to walk away. The next second, something heavy slammed into the back of my head. Damn it, if I don't teach you a lesson, you think this is a game. After a dull pain, I felt dizzy. Then I heard my mother scream, Bella. Then I heard Lisa curse, are you trying to kill her? Lucas, you hit her so hard, now she's dead, and we've just wasted our time. A wet, sticky sensation slid down my scalp onto my face. It was blood. I decided to keep my head hanging and continue pretending to be unconscious, prolonging the time. Lucas pushed hard on my head, but I didn't react. Lisa also grew anxious. After apparently stuffing something into my mother's mouth, she came over to check my breathing. This chair is solid wood. Don't really kill her. She won't die. Probably just fainted. The two of them began to frantically search me for the lottery ticket. Suddenly, several shadows flashed before my eyes, and a few seconds later, I heard Lisa begging for mercy and Lucas cursing. When I opened my eyes, I saw two burly men who had seemingly appeared out of nowhere, pinning the two down to the ground. One of them looked vaguely familiar. After subduing the two, one of the burly men went to open the door. The other one, under my instruction, first went to untie my mother and grandmother. It was only then that I realized they had just entered from the balcony. As the door opened, Chen saw me covered in blood and rushed to my side in panic. Bella, don't you dare die. Call an ambulance, call the police. After helping me untie the rope, he quickly took off his t-shirt and pressed it against my wound to stop the bleeding. I'm fine, just a superficial wound. Why are you here? How did you find me? You owe me 5 dates. I texted you, you didn't reply. I called you, you didn't answer. I was afraid you'd try to weasel out of it, so I came to your place. Just as I arrived downstairs, I got hit by your clip. Last night, I fell asleep without replying to his message. And this morning I hadn't even had a chance to check my phone yet. It was still on my bedside table. I excitedly hugged him, and when I looked up again, his face was completely red. I added, your chest muscles are looking great. My mom, who had originally come over to check on my injury, tactfully turned around and went to see grandma instead. Chen, listen to me. Lisa, pinned to the ground, tried to use a cutesy voice but ended up shouting, her voice cracking. Chen looked at her with disgust, about to say something when I stopped him by covering his mouth. I walked over, gathering all my strength, and slapped her hard across the face. Don't ever come near my boyfriend again. Lisa and Lucas were quickly taken away by the police. Burglary, assault, attempted kidnapping. Chen promised me that he would find the best lawyer for me and press charges for the maximum sentence. Before grandma woke up, my mom pulled me aside secretly. I thought she would ask me about the lottery winnings, but instead, she told me to make sure to hold on to Chen. Mom, why didn't you even ask me about the lottery? I asked curiously. Do I need money? What I need is a son-in-law. After saying this, she gave me a sidelong glance and went to see grandma. 9. On the day of the prize collection, Chen accompanied me. The 40 million ended up stored in a tiny card. Holding the card, I still felt that everything was unreal. I doubted whether I was still lying by the mountain stream, and all of this was an illusion before death, until I pinched Chen beside me, and he yelped in pain, protesting loudly, "Hey, shouldn't you be pinching yourself, because in this life, I don't want to myself at all anymore." Chen touched my forehead. "What do you mean this life? Did the doctor not check you properly yesterday?" 3 months later, Lisa and Lucas were both sentenced to life imprisonment, and I, with an extra 40 million in my bank account, and a clingy CEO boyfriend who's like a human accessory, every day commuting to and from the foreign enterprise, every day returning home to mooch meals, breakfast with grandma's hand-ground soy milk, dinner with mom's sweet and sour spare ribs, and late-night snacks brought by Chin. A variety of desserts. In this life, I want to pamper myself even more amidst all the love. After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.